Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by Believe.com, BetOnline.ag, and of course, our good friends over at RabbitComics.com. Be sure to check them out on all your social media apps. That is RabbitComics.com. And if you're on the Whatnot app, be sure to check them out every Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, for some incredible deals on their amazing comic books. Again, RabbitComics.com is where you want to be for all your online comic book purchases. I want to give a big thank you to Julie Johnson from the Fangirls Podcast, also on the Believe Podcast Network, for this incredible episode coming your way. We're going to be talking about all things New York Comic Con 2022.
I'm Julie, and today we have a very special guest. I'm super excited to introduce Brian from Zero Dark Nerdy. Welcome, friend.
Hey, glad to be back. Good to see you, Julie.
I know, dude. Like, we have collaborated on one project, and then life happened.
Yeah.
And
COVID
we have been
happened, everything happened.
Yeah. We have been trying to collab on another episode since September of last year. And life has just been crazy and busy and stupid. And I'm so glad that we have you on today to talk about all things New York City Comic Con.
Yeah. I'm excited to be on. So feel free to, any questions you want to send my way, have at it. And I'll give you a little bit about the show.
Dude, I'm so excited because I've done LA Comic Con, which is nothing compared to New York City Comic Con or San Diego. It's a drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. So I am over the moon to pick your brain on certain things, all things New York City Comic Con related.
There you go. We got to make sure that we get you to come to New York next year.
I know, dude. Oh, New York in the fall. Yes, please. Yeah. I've done that. That I can say I've done.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know, Brian and I are part of the Believe Podcast Network, and this is how we know each other. Mm-hmm. We talk about all these fun fandoms, and we were like, how do we partner on an episode? How do we make time to do this? So here we are making time to answer all your burning questions about New York City Comic Con.
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
No. We had one episode that we did, and it was with my old laptop. Unfortunately, since we've done that episode, I have now upgraded to a new MacBook, and now I store everything in the cloud. So I no longer will trust external hard drives anymore, even though the one I had did last me a long time. So I will not be losing any more episodes, because that was a fun episode, and we definitely got to figure out a way to do it again. Not, verbatim, but
right.
Like that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, first and foremost, what was it like going back to Comic-Con post-pandemic? Because this is your first one back since 2019, right?
Yeah, that is correct. So I've been to 4 straight before that. So 2016, 2017, 2018. Actually 3 straight, because 2019, I just remembered I could not go to, so I had to give my press pass to a good friend of mine that lives in New York City, because I had just started my job that I'm currently at now.
Okay.
Fortunately, I wasn't able to take time off, but yeah, this is my first one post-pandemic, and it was good to be back. Any excuse I have to go to New York City to go see family and friends. I grew up in upstate New York, so it's like a second home for me.
There you go.
It was good to be back and just kind of see everything. It was a little hectic and chaotic and fun and exciting at the same time, but we'll definitely get into all that as the show goes on. Right
on. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was some Comic-Con crud going around.
Yeah. So we had to reschedule a couple of times because of me. I've never had Comic-Con crud, but you can ask, especially exhibitors and vendors about it. It's just one of those things where even pre-pandemic, it's a lot. I'm not going to lie. When you go to, and I've never been to San Diego myself. I'm hoping to go, hopefully, fingers crossed, for the first time next year.
All right.
But New York Comic-Con is just so massive, and there's so many people there, where if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not bringing the hand sanitizers, if you're not bringing vitamin C, you can get a little under the weather. So that's why I kind of sound the way I do. I don't sound as terrible as I did yesterday or the day before. But yeah, I got a little bit of that Comic-Con crud, which, luckily, knock on wood, it's not COVID related. It's just you're doing so much. And it's good to stay hydrated, which I try to do the best that I possibly could. Because on average, looking at my Apple Watch, we were walking, 10 miles a day.
Easy.
I would say 6 to 7 of those miles easily were just at the Comic-Con. So it's a lot. It's kind of like a pop culture nerdum fandom overload, if you can, because there's so much to take in compared to the smaller cons where you could really. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy Comic-Con, but the smaller cons I like because they're more fan friendly. You're not walking, miles upon miles for the most part. Mm-hmm. And, you also don't, for the most part, have, I think there was something like 200,000 people there on Saturday alone, which is why I like going the first day. The first day to me is always my favorite day to go because it isn't as busy. People are working. It's a Thursday and you get to enjoy a lot of the booths and things like that. Basketball is back and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all Spates wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
I am making that mental note as we speak because I always go on a Saturday because that's the only day I have off.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only way I can go. And a day pass is a lot cheaper than the 4-day.
Agreed.
So, and LA Comic-Con, so affordable. Like my ticket for this year, I'm looking at $40.
Yeah.
That is unheard of. Like my accountant was like, what do you mean you went to Comic-Con for $40? Because I was like, can I write this off? Is this a way? Is this something I can do? And she was like, yeah, you did an episode on it, right? And I was like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. And 100%. She was like, it's only $40. And I was like, it was, but that $40 makes a difference, right? And she's like, sure it does. I'm sure it does, Julie.
Yeah, it sure does. I believe for 2 passes for 2 days for the individual passes that we got, they've been, I will say, New York Comic Con's been a lot stricter since the pandemic in terms of press and pro passes. Whereas pre-pandemic, we got press or pro passes. I know for sure 2018 and 2019. And I think, because those are really the first years that we started. At the time, it was multi-pop stroll, then it became Zero Dark Nerdy.
Okay.
And then, I got two days for 2 days, Thursday and Saturday, for 2 tickets. I believe the total was like $350. So it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not as inexpensive as some of the smaller cons out there. Yeah,
I was gonna say San Diego starting is like $350.
Right.
For 4 days.
Yeah.
And that's like the bottom base package, and you're paying to be stuck in a crowd 5 miles outside of Hall H.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And I mean, I think Comic-Con is super fun. You get to not think about reality. Yeah. But at the same time, there should be a guest service aspect of it.
Yes.
And I think that is just like a lost art. Like you can't have Disney standards for Comic-Con, even though like I'm a former cast member and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's be efficient here, folks. Yeah. But anywho, I digress. I'm ready for some tea. You ready for some tea?
I'm ready for some tea. I do love some tea.
All right. All right, kind sir. Serious question time.
Okay.
Favorite panel from this Comic-Con?
My favorite one, hands down, has to be, and this was Thursday, they did the Super Mario Brothers panel and released the trailer the same exact time they released it on YouTube and across the world. So it was super fun, super cool. I'll get into the panel process later. Okay. Because that was kind of a whole thing altogether as far as signing up for the panels. Okay. This one was definitely one of my top ones, especially being on a Thursday when I know it's not going to be that busy. And we got relatively close to the stage. And it was just cool. I can't remember the name of the host, but she came out, kind of introduced everything. And then we got to see video kind of commentary from the creator of Mario himself, which was really cool. The only thing I didn't like about that, though, is that they did a voiceover for him. I would have much rather just him just talking his, native tongue and the subtitles underneath. Because, just didn't match. And even though I grew up watching Kung Fu movies, I'd rather just see that in Kung Fu movies.
Right. I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was Mario the video game or Mario the movie?
No, the movie. Yeah, the animated movie coming out. So she introduced it, dropped the trailer. And, of course, when they first start, they're like, listen, no phones, no cameras. If anything comes out, like, we're going to have to escort you to leave. As soon as the trailer drops, it's like, how are you going to kick out, 500 people for whipping out their cell phones?
Right.
So, and plus they dropped the trailer at the same time. So it's not like we were releasing anything the world wasn't going to see yet.
Right.
There was a cool video message from Jack Black. Really cool video message from Chris Pratt, which that was kind of the rumblings going on was, Chris Pratt might, he might make an appearance here. Who knows? But we were fortunate enough after the trailer dropped, she was talking about Chris Pratt. Then you hear this voice in the background doing the voice of Bowser. It's like, who cares about Chris Pratt? Everybody's here to see Bowser. And then Jack Black just shows up on stage. And it was
you go.
Just as cool as a cucumber. So it definitely made our day because we had to choose between that and Velma with Mindy Kaling. She's doing that on HBO Max. So that's the thing with the panels is you really, you have to sacrifice some for another because a lot of them are kind of back to back. And I know one of your favorite shows, Outlander, that was one of the most popular ones there. But I believe that one was on Sunday. We didn't have tickets for Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the scheduling, you have to take a look. And they only release a schedule about a week or two in advance anyways. So you kind of have to pick and choose which ones that you want because as you're picking the panels, it won't let you pick two panels that go on at the same time or if they end relatively close to each other.
Right. And I mean, if the Outlander panels at Comic-Con, the line to Hall H is so long, you won't have the option to just jump back in line. It's okay. We're going to stand here for 5 hours for one panel. Oh, this better be worth it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say just a quick recap on their panel process. So for New York Comic Con this year, they used to do the lottery system.
Oh, okay.
Where it's almost like the Funko booth, which is I've yet to ever get a ticket into the Funko booth. It's like a top secret. It's all walled off. You can't bring out any cameras or anything in there. It's like super duper top secret. But I will say, they got rid of that and they just kind of did like sign up as you go. Their system crashed on Monday, the Monday before, which was a nightmare. So 2 hours of my lunch break gone. Then it came back Thursday and you have to, so say you were with a group, luckily this year, because normally I go with at least a couple of my friends. My daughter usually goes with me. This year it was just my fiance and I. So I had to tell her, I'm like, look, you need to log on under your account. And we have to try to get on at the same time and try to book. So I gave her like a list, like here's the top ones that we need to go to. Here's the ones like at the bottom. So it was like Walking Dead and like the Halloween panel and everything else. And we were able to get all of them that we wanted to see except for the Funko booth, which it's literally like next to impossible. And it's a lot of people that just try to go in there and buy them and then resell them for God knows what. So that is the one benefit I will say of New York Comic Con is they wanted to get rid of the whole lining up hours ahead deal, to where if you had it and you can just wait 15 to 30 minutes before to get a good seat instead of waiting hours and hours. Because, I mean, to me, that takes away so much from the rest of the Comic-Con.
It does.
I mean, I know Hall H is obviously legendary. You get exclusives, you get stuff that you never see anywhere else. You get to meet The Rock and everywhere else. But I mean, you're I don't want to say wasting, but you're waiting for multiple hours. You
are. And it's stupid. And it's the year 2022. We should have something more efficient at that point.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Bring home Top Gun Maverick on 4K UHD disc now. Tom Cruise stars in the spectacular action-packed epic, which critics are calling one of the greatest movies ever made. Buy Top Gun Maverick on 4K UHD disc and dive into over 80 minutes of incredible behind-the-scenes bonus content. Also available on digital, rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a little inner anger over that, but whatever. I just remember the Funko Pop booth at WonderCon that I went to this year.
Mm-hmm.
Same craziness.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yep.
Just totally stupid. And it was like a 3 to 4 hour wait. And they were throwing a party in this booth, and it was 100 by 100, like something stupid for square footage in a convention center.
Right.
But they had a stage. Yeah. And they're playing music. They have beach balls everywhere. And I was like, or you could just find it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or
wherever the exclusive is.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I not getting here? What tea am I not drinking, or what Kool-Aid am I not drinking to get on the Funko Pop, bandwagon here?
Yeah.
That whatever, but okay.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite celeb encounter / sighting this weekend, or at this Comic-Con? Because you had some good ones, dude. I was following you. I was like, yes.
We had some really great ones. I got to say, the people that we met and got pictures with were super cool. The first picture, and really the only picture we had signed up for on Thursday, was with John Leguizamo. And I've always been a big fan of John Leguizamo. We actually got pictures with him because normally he'll do Artist Alley, which is where you'll see, every comic book artist known to mankind is there. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he had released his Comic Book Freak. But yeah, John Leguizamo was great, with photo ops, just to let you guys know out there. They do kind of rush you through the process. Mm-hmm. I will say more of the local fan-friendly ones. I know you said LA Comic-Con. For us, similar here in North Carolina, we have Raleigh SuperCon.
Okay.
And it's the layout itself is super, super fan-friendly. You don't have to wait down this incredibly long line, because even if there's nobody in line, they're still kind of like a mile away in New York Comic-Con.
Okay.
Where at SuperCon and these other ones, you can just walk right up and start talking to, your favorite celebrities, whether if it's Jason Mewes. I got to meet Zach Morris, Mark Paul Gosselaar. Oh, he was the coolest, probably the coolest I've met all year.
The coolest kid from Bayside High? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, that's SuperCon, and I'll send you pics. But he was just incredibly just sociable, sitting there asking us questions, things like that. And that's why I really love a lot of these smaller cons, because they are fan friendly. And I understand why San Diego and New York has to set up the way they do, because it can't be pandemonium. But anyways, I digress. John Leguizamo was cool. We got to meet Boyd Holbrook. For a lot of you that may not know who that is, he was in the first 2 seasons of Narcos. He was based on a true story. He was in Logan as the villain with the.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And he's also in this season of Sandman too.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Yeah, we got to meet him before our picture, because his booth was actually aligned to where the picture staging area is, where you're waiting in line for your professional photo op.
Okay.
And at that point, he had a few people in line, but once the line ended, I wanted to make it a point that the people that we met, I wanted to give them a free Zero Dark Nerdy shirt. They may never wear it, they may throw it away.
There you go.
Who knows? And I walked up to him. I was like, hey, man, just letting you know, we have our picture with you in an hour, but I wanted to go ahead and give this to you now. We're big fans. I really was. I'd loved him since Narcos. And then he was on Logan, which is mine and my daughter's favorite movie. And then seeing him in Sandman. And he was this is a guy you could literally have a drink at the bar with. Just super duper cool. And then just to kind of round it off, we got a picture with Ice-T. He could not have been nicer. And
Dude.
then Oscar Isaac was the big one. That's the one that we paid for. And even though he had a plexiglass barrier, that was the only thing. So I would not have paid as much as I did, which I don't want to say out loud how much I paid. You can just look it up. It was not cheap.
Okay.
I wouldn't have paid that much for a plexiglass picture. And the thing is, a lot of them stayed at Brendan Fraser when he was at Raleigh SuperCon, and he was at New York Comic Con. It said Plexi. Sebastian Stan was at New York Comic Con, and his said Plexi.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to do that. And Oscar Isaacs didn't. So I said, cool. But then we found out the day of, hey, he's got Plexi, and it's just one of those things where it's weird. You don't know what, especially if you're with another person.
Right.
If it's just you and them, you can do different poses. A lot of people did the back to back.
Oh.
Some people did the heart on the plexiglass. Okay. And, me and my fiance, it didn't work out. And it was kind of a nightmare because their printers went down
No.
But in all, everybody we met, and this is the one thing I will always say about Comic-Con, I've yet to meet a celebrity that has, I'm not saying that they don't exist,
Right.
that was ever, mean or just kind of like didn't want to be there or anything like that. And just from, our friends that go, just running into a lot of celebrities on the show floor, a lot of them are very welcoming. They'll do selfies as long as there's not like a mob around, things like that. A lot of people met Todd McFarlane and Kevin Eastman, like Ninja Turtles, the creator, and the creator of Spawn and things like that. And they were, more than happy because they appreciate the fandom. They know that without us, they wouldn't have jobs.
Right.
So, and the community as a whole has been pretty awesome. So yeah, I don't want to, I know that as far as dishing on tea or, I don't have any bad stories as far as celebrity.
That's great.
Comic-Con. So I'll take that. I'll take that for sure.
That's a win.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had a bad experience at Disneyland where I've seen most celebrities.
Yeah.
But I've had friends have not great experiences with certain celebs because they're trying to spend time with their family. Give me a handful of do's and don'ts from New York Comic-Con.
Sure. I would go ahead first and foremost, because there's a fan verification process with New York Comic-Con. I'm sure it's probably the same way with San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to make sure you go on the site well before tickets go on sale. I believe our tickets went on sale maybe April, May, something like that.
Okay.
Make sure that you do everything that they say as far as the email goes to be fan verified, because when you get your badges in the mail, they are going to want you to go ahead and put them in, because the cool thing about the badges is it lets you into a lot of the panels. They do giveaways around Comic-Con to where you can literally scan your badge and you might win something, you might not.
Okay.
So that's rule number one. Rule number two, I would definitely say if you're only going 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, if you're going all four, God bless you. I don't think I've ever done all four, but hydrate. I mean, the great thing is, security wise, it's not one of those, it's not like the airport where they're not going to let you bring in a bottle of water. What I mean? Bring in a huge bottle of water. You can, a lot of, especially New York Comic-Con, there's sinks that you can refill it at. They have the little thing on top. Do that so that way you're not spending $5 at the concession stand for water over and over again. So you do want to stay hydrated. And then it doesn't hurt to kind of map out your plan of attack. Let's just say, for instance, as I mentioned Thursday, I already had told my fiance this was really her first Comic-Con period. So I kind of threw her into
that's fun.
Wild. And I said, look, Thursday is going to be like, we actually hit the show floor. We're going through booths. We're just kind of chilling. As I mentioned, we only had the one photo op, and then we had the panel for Mario Brothers, and that was really about it. So I will say, if you can go on the first day, and that first day is a Thursday, or even if it's just a Friday, go, because it's not as crazy as the weekend gets.
Smart.
As far as don'ts, and I will say this, and this is a big shout out to my friend Sarah Chu out there. She's been on the show multiple times, cosplayer out of Philadelphia. And they normally have signs all over the place. And this is just, I mean, this should be common sense. And I have to say this, but cosplay doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want as far as being handsy with people, whether they're male or female.
Agreed.
So I was literally just texting her before the show because we never had a chance to link up on Saturday because it was just so crazy. And her cosplays are out of this world. And she even mentioned, she was like, Brian, I've never been groped so much at a Comic-Con before. No. And that's just not cool.
No.
Cosplay is not she's wearing the Princess Leia slave outfit. I get to, do whatever. So that's my first and foremost and always will be don't of anything, whether if you're at New York Comic-Con or you're at a bar.
Right.
Take some respect. That's the biggest one there. And then, other, I would say don'ts is be patient. I mean, yes, it's going to be crowded. It's going to be packed. Be respectful because there are a lot of people that don't have, I don't want to use the word luxuries, but, there's a lot of disabled people that go to these Comic-Cons and be respectful. Mm-hmm. For, first and foremost, there were times that we were in line for whether pictures or autographs and people were kind of, moaning and groaning because someone in a wheelchair got to go to the front. It's like, what if that was you?
Right.
Come on. So, right. So just be respectful of each other and be cool. I mean, I will say I've made some great friends at Comic-Con, and it is a family. You know, it's all of us fandoms and nerdums and everything else just getting together and like this is home.
Right.
You know, but treat it like your home. Don't treat it like some dump. Don't treat it like some dive bar or whatever, you know. So and just go like within your means. If you're tired, take a break. I mean, because it is a lot.
It is.
It can be a lot. I mean, I just turned 42 this year. I'm not saying I'm a senior citizen, but I can't just bounce up like I used to.
Right.
You know, I need a day or two to recover. Oh, my first deal, I should have said this. Get either some super duper comfortable sneakers or buy some insoles. That is the number one thing, especially when you're going to these really big Comic-Cons. And that's always my regret because I always mean to do it. And I never get around to buying the insoles. And let me tell you, I'm going to tip whoever's going to give me a manicure next week extra because these doggies have been hurting for the last couple days. So and I mean, granted, I know it's hard to do if you're in a cosplay outfit, but if you're just wearing like a Marvel shirt or an Outlander shirt or whatever, and you have the opportunity to wear comfortable shoes or at least put insoles in them, do it.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. Last year, my cosplay is very mild. Let me throw that disclaimer out there. So I went as Dr. Darcy Lewis from WandaVision.
Yeah, love it.
And I wore Uggs. I wore black Uggs. I got a beanie, and my only accessory was my shield badge.
Okay.
And I unexpectedly got a lot of compliments. I was like, oh, see, I just feel so clever right now.
Yeah.
And my Uggs did not have enough support. And I was like, man, I thought I was definitely on the right track here. Nope. Should have wore my Pumas. Should have wore my tennies. Come on, self. You know better. And my friends got a bum knee. So one day, and we were like, man, we cannot hang like we used to. What is our deal?
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is. And we had a good time. And
yeah, that's it. I mean, I think that's the number one rule is have fun. You know, no one's gonna be crowded. Be respectful. I mean, there were some incidents this year, but I mean, I think it's gonna be like that just about everywhere. It's not like it was like full out, drawn out, you know, blown out brawls or anything like that. But you know, at the end of the day, it really is a fun community to be around, and I really enjoy it. And I mean, to me, some of the most simplest cosplays have gotten us the biggest reaction. I mean, we did Bob Burgers, to where I just wore, you know, just a white shirt, the apron, the jeans. One year, I think the biggest reaction we got, and we weren't even expecting it, because my thing is with cosplay in a gigantic environment like that, comfort.
Agreed.
I'm not trying to do makeup. I'm not trying to go crazy. And for all you cosplayers out there, God bless you for the ones that, because I mean, trust me, especially New York Comic Con, a lot of people go all out, and I love it. You know, I absolutely love it. But we did Average Joe's dodgeball team. We just wore the yellow shorts. And I mean, we were getting stopped like every 5 minutes for like group pictures. And it was awesome.
That's fun.
You know, it was very cool. And we were very comfortable the entire time doing it. So if you're new to cosplaying and you kind of want to break into you know, the cosplay territory, I guess you could say, but you also want to be comfortable, find cosplay outfits out there that makes sense. And whether if you get, you know, there's been times where we dressed up like Pulp Fiction and only a couple people recognized us. You know what I mean? So don't do it for recognition. Honestly, do it for comfort. And if you get recognized, fantastic. If you don't, have a good time.
Exactly. All right.
So Julie, you know, tell everybody where they can find you at as far as social media, website, all that fun stuff. Like, where can our listeners find your podcast and everything at?
Well, we are definitely on Instagram. You can find us at the Fangirls Podcast on Insta. We are also on TikTok and Facebook. We try to get our messaging across the most on Instagram. So if you're looking for an update, Instagram is where you can find us. We try TikTok. We do TikTok. Try to do TikTok at least once or twice a week. But that's its own beast.
Yes.
But we also have a monthly blog where you can find us, and I'll put that in the show notes.
Any upcoming episodes that our fans should look forward to that you have, especially now that we're wrapping up. I can't believe we're already, you know, by the time this airs, end of October. So any like end of year episodes that you got going on?
Oh, well, we're covering She-Hulk. We're covering The Crown.
Okay.
We're covering, House of Dragon. Come on.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of fun episodes. And we're in all the directories. We're everywhere. Believe Podcast Network, Apple, Spotify. We're everywhere. So we love talking fandoms if you're looking for a new podcast.
As always, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, Zero Dark Nerdy on all your pop culture and social media podcast networks. And please be sure to follow Julie and, of course, the Fangirls podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
You know when you're listening to a true crime story that has an unbelievable plot twist that makes you stop in your tracks? That's what our podcast, People Are the Worst, brings you with each episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rebecca. We're identical twins who love true crime cases that make you say, didn't see that coming, and we hate the people responsible for them. Listen to People Are the Worst now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.